Hey, what's up? What's good? How's everybody doing? My name is Ray T Dragon, and this is my review and summary of One Piece chapter 999. Honestly, this is a very special chapter because it's the last chapter where we have, triple digits 999. It's also like a monumental point in One Piece because it feels like just yesterday I just started reading it, but I've been reading it for many years. By the way, enough of the intro. Let's get to this chapter, alright? Let's see what will happen. So, we begin where we left off with a little flashback of Ace versus Yamato. And it was pretty epic back and forth actually, with Ace and Yamato trading blows, Ace coming out come for Kaido's head, and then Yamato being able to defend against his attacks constantly. And then, Ace figures out that, Yamato is Kaido's daughter. And then we move on from there. And what surprises me is like after they stop fighting, Ace, Ace's crew mentions that they were returning abducted kids back to their families. But which abducted kids and from where do they come from? It's like a bit of a callback to Punk Hazard, back when Luffy was, helping out those little kids and everything, which was pretty dope. But who knows? Maybe people have been doing experiments on kids for years in One Piece. But anyway, after that little conversation, they go back to fight again. And then one thing Ace mentions is that, Yamato, we don't get to choose our fathers, which is really true. Your hands being bound are one thing, but even though you hate your father so much, why have you allowed your heart to be bound as well? Which is just incredible. So, don't let your parents define who you are. Alright? I was lucky enough to have wonderful parents, so can't really relate to what Ace is feeling. So then they keep on fighting, and then Yamato does one thing that I didn't expect, because initially when I saw the dragon statue from the previous chapter, I thought Ace was the one who destroyed it, but Yamato was the one who destroyed it first. And then Ace punched it with his five fists, melting it. Sort of like a warning, like, hey, Ace. Sort of like a warning to Kaido, like, I'm coming for you, bro. Better watch out. But then after that, they make up. They have a little party. So it's sort of like a theme of Luffy and his crew as well. Whenever you go to an island, eventually they make friends, then they have a little party afterwards, and they have a very nice conversation. Yeah. And then Yamato is dreaming about one day going out to sea. And then from then on, the conversation goes to another stage where Ace talks about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cabbage, aka Cavendish. And Cavendish from Doris Rosa was definitely one of my favorite characters in the whole arc because he had a very cool design. He was flashy. He had like the Hakuba mode, and then hopefully like Cavendish has a lot of potential as well. If he's able to control the Hakuba mode or whatever Hakuba mode, if he's able to control his alter ego Hakuba, he would definitely be a very strong pirate. But Hakuba got low dipped by Robin. Yeah, and then yeah, Cavendish something. Oh, he's all the rave, incredible. And then uh, Ace goes on. Man, I like Ace, but Ace goes on to mention, Kid from the South. Oh, when I heard that, I was like, well, when I read that, I was like, oh my god, Kid, Kid is getting, he's out here. He's been doing the stuff. But well, Kid is older than Luffy, Kid in the South. And then he goes on to mention, oh, Law, one of my favorite One Piece characters, Law in the North. And then surprisingly, he mentions Capone, Beige in the West, which I did not expect. But hey, Capone has been doing things. He is one of the oldest of the worst generation. So yeah, Kid in the South, Law in the North, and Beige in the West. And then Ace in the East. Incredible. And then he goes on to mention the future king of the pirates, his little brother, Luffy, who's gonna become, a star, who's gonna set out to sea in a few years. And then, Yamato complains, like, why are you always talking about your brother? Like, hey, man, if my brother was Luffy, I would talk about him every day. Like, what? Whoever doesn't know about Luffy will know. But man, it was a very nice conversation. This is a very nice flashback. Was pretty heartwarming because Ace is definitely one of my favorite characters as well. I think he doesn't get a lot of respect because of what he did in Marineford, you know. But man, he definitely has a special place in my heart. Hmm. All right, enough of the stuff now. We move on, and then Yamato mentions to the young Momonosuke that he well he that she is Kaido's daughter, and then a, a very comedic scene occurs where he, yeah, Momonosuke's eyes pop out like what, Nandato happens, and then we got a lot of information as well. Not only that, uh, she talked about Ace to the young Momonosuke, and then from then on, the scene transitioned to Nami and the little Tama, right? And then they were both talking about Ace, and then from then on, it makes another transition to inside the live floor where Queen is out there, stop Marco, because Marco's out here basically healing everybody, and then the mob characters are like, oh, what, he saved us, right? And then they're like, would you rather get killed by Master Queen instead? And then they just attacked him. But yeah, Marco has no reason to go after Kaido directly, so he tells Robin and Brooke to run up the castle, and then which they do, and then that leaves Marco and Zoro together, and then Marco turns into a phoenix, grabs Zoro, and then they fly to the next floor. But then Queen was like, what are you doing, bro? Are you trying to make a fool out of me? But then Marco has his own little flashback about back in the day, back on the Moby Dick, and then they talk about what happened to Odin. Because at first I was like pretty angry because they knew that Odin had died, even though it was after a few years after the incident. They knew Odin died, but they didn't run up on Kaido because a lot of people would have died. No, most definitely, a lot of people would have died. That the island of Wano probably would have been destroyed. And then Ace just shouts like, "Hey, I made a promise. I need to go back." And then the goat himself, top one in the verse, Whitebeard, just puts Ace back in his place, scolds him, and then a shocker happened because oh my god, I honestly lost my shit when this happened because Blackbeard came. Blackbeard showed up. Z ha 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 ha. Oh man, Teach. Oh my god. And the dialogue he has with the with the crew, he just says like, but seriously, Odin was really strong. Captain Ace, you really just want to take down a big shot, do you? Don't you? But man, man, this all these little bits of dialogue. I wish there was a bit more dialogue, even inside the One Piece crew. Like sort of like during one of the intermissions, back between islands, they can just have a bits of conversation like this. That would be very nice. And then Marco talks about going back on the island. Well, Ace talks about going back on the island because of his promise. And then Yozo also wants to go back, and Marco as well. And then after that, Marco's he's just cries because he remembers the good old days, which was which really touched me as well. Like this was a very good chapter. Like I'm not even halfway through it, but it was very well done. Marco's out there crying, and then he's brought back to reality when Queen shouts like Marco, and then he turns into the big brontosaur. And he's out here ready to give Marco some hands, and then King comes down again with his Pediatron. Like, man, some of these dinosaur names I can't pronounce. Just know it's a bigger version of the pterodactyl that everybody knows about. And then they start fighting Marco. Well, Queen starts, and then I don't know what it is, but he shot. He shot. He has guns in his mouth somehow. I don't know how that worked. And of course, bullets don't work on Marco because he is a Zoan, a mythical. Well, yeah, he's a mythical Zoan of the Phoenix, which is basically self-regenerative capabilities. From then on, we made a transition back to Tama and Nami, but I wish there was a bit more dialogue between the two. But Tama finds out that Ace has a little brother, and that little brother is Luffy, and then she just cries about it because she was harsh. She was a little harsh on Luffy, but that was to be that wasn't too surprising because she didn't know about the relationship between Luffy and Ace. But yeah, Luffy could have been a bit more gentle, but it's better to just rip off the bandit instead of letting it fester. After that, we make another transition back to Momo, and where he finds out that Ace had a son, and that's Ace had a son, and that son was a what am I saying? That Roger's son is Ace, and that is Luffy's big brother. And then he was just shocked. The conversation continues between you know Momonosuke and Yamato. But man, I think one important detail that I forgot to mention earlier was that Kaido was not on the island at the same time as Ace, right? That was a very important plot point, and I'm sure a lot of theories are gonna come out on it because because the captain wasn't around there, all the top tiers wasn't around there. They were there on a going on a little adventure. But what could be so important that Kaido would not be on the island? What could be so important that a Yonko had to leave his residence to go and chase after something? So yeah, a lot of theories are definitely going to come out. Some of the theories I think I saw was that perhaps that was when Kaido found the road poneglyph. That's when he was looking for it, right? He found during this journey that he took back when Ace was trying to get to him. Perhaps he found a poneglyph there. Perhaps he found the road poneglyph at that point, but I'm not sure. I don't remember correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat or in the comment section below, because I really think it's a very good possibility that that's the reason why Kaido wasn't there. Either that or it was something else, but I can't really imagine anything else much greater than that. And then going back where Yamato mentions that Luffy has the initial D, which which is another plot point because perhaps Yamato knows something about the D initial because it seems like every top tier person knows a little bit about the importance of the D initial. So perhaps we can find out at some point. Perhaps maybe Law, who also knows something about the D initial, can say something because I definitely know Robin definitely knows something for sure. But anyway, moving on, we transition to Big Mom has finally made it to the top of Onigashima, and then there's Kaido just sitting there drinking a beer. Well, that means, the Scabbers got washed because he's just out there just chilling, doing nothing, bro. And then Big Mom just mentions Stride isn't here, and then she talks to Kaido and tells Kaido, "Hey Kaido, I don't care how many you kill, but you must make sure that Nico Robin is alive." That right there, it just set my head spinning because this is epic. Everything is just coming together. Everything is just coming together to this one person who knows how to read the poneglyphs. The only person. And she goes on to mention that she's tired of waiting for Pudding to awaken. I don't know if that's true or not. Well, from Pudding's perspective, I don't know if she can actually read the poneglyphs, but maybe she can. But anyway, Big Mom is tired. She wants Robin. Like, oh my god, things are heating up. Things are starting to go. And they have a little, conversation between the two. Zeus is out there looking menacing more than usual. Prometheus is looking menacing. Dude. And then they talk about Onigashima floating. And I think everybody thought the same. Onigashima, well, most of the people in the community thought the same. That Onigashima was going to end up on top of Wano, on top of the flower capital. That's what Kaido wanted. And everybody knew that was going to kill a lot of people. But moving on from there, we go on to probably the most important part of the chapter, where we figure out that Big Mom is the strongest person in the verse. Because Big Mom treats Kaido like a little brother, like, come on, G! Big meme! Not anymore with this chapter. Big Mom is top one, guys. I'm calling it now. But anyway, enough of that. We move on. Enough of that. Enough of that, okay. Enough of that, okay. We move on that back in the Rocks days, the most important point of this chapter, the person who gave Kaido his fruit was Big Mom. And that fruit was a mythical type fish fruit. Let me be honest. In the beginning, I was like, what the hell is this? Kaido's a fish? Are you serious? He's a fish. Come on, G. Come on, Oda. Come on. A fish. But then, I was like, okay, perhaps there's some mythical importance to it. So, I did what everybody did. They went on to Google. They searched fish, mythical fish, and then this is what I got. I got something on carps, right? Which was the fish that we saw. Carps, I think, which we saw earlier on. Well, in Wano we saw koi fish, but I found something in Chinese mythology about the carp, where the carp is, in Chinese mythology, the carp can be transformed into dragons or carp, which was very interesting, right? Carp can be transformations of dragons, or carp can be a change, or carp can sometimes change into dragons. Excuse me, which was pretty interesting. So according to into tradition, a carp that could swim upstream then leap the falls of the Yellow River at Dragon Gate Logman would be transformed into a dragon. This motif, this is the Dragon Gate at the border of, excuse my pronunciation, Shangxi and Shangxi, where the Yellow River flows through a cleft in the Longman Mountains, supposedly made by Yu the Great, who cut through those mountains. According to one account, all the carp competed at a yearly competition to leap the Longman Falls. Those who succeeded were immediately transformed into dragons and flew off into the sky. So yeah, that was a very interesting point. So it makes sense that Kaido, who is a dragon, has the mythical fish fruit. And but I'm gonna be honest, at first I was disappointed, but now because of all the dragon double fruits that there were, and then Oda just throws in a curveball, just flings it in, and then boom, there it is. Kaido's a fish, which makes sense of one of the titles he has. In land, sea, or air, bet on Kaido. Well, does that make him? Yeah, does that make him like impervious to drowning because he is a fish? Hmm. That's a topic of conversation for the future. But man, this was one hell of a chapter, one hell of a way to end 999. For me, this was an 11 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the comedy. I enjoyed the information that was provided. And hopefully, you guys as well enjoyed it as well. Because this was a fabulous chapter. It was well written. The artwork was great. The pacing was getting there, and I can't wait for chapter 1000. Chapter 1000 is probably gonna blow. Wait, no, no, no. Let me not put too much emphasis on chapter 1000. I just hope it's just gonna be good. I'm not gonna have my expectations up high. I just hope that chapter 1000 is gonna be well written. Hope it's gonna get well received by the public, and you know, all I do is just wish good health for Oda so that he can just keep on writing all this amazing work. Hashtag Goda. Hashtag Goat. Once again, thank you everybody for joining me for this chapter. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my annoying voice. Alright. Stay safe everybody, and goodbye.